Hey guys, how you doing? This is Steve with Keller Williams, and I'm back here focusing on another small business located in the Riverdale section of the Bronx. Today I'm here with a local artist. I am here with Annette Back, who focuses on modern and contemporary works. So how you doing, Annette?
I'm good. How are you, Steve?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great. I'm doing great. So I'm glad that we were able to actually kind of get this sit down taken care of. We've been talking about it for a couple weeks.
We have.
Yes, yes. So what have you been up to the past couple weeks?
I'm always painting. I'm always trying to find. I'm always trying to find time to come down here into my playroom, as I call it. This is a converted playroom into my studio.
Okay, cool. So there's an old cliche that beauty is in the eye of the beholder. So as an artist, how do you define beauty?
Oh, well, that's a complicated question. You can write lots of papers about that. Beauty is something that when you look at it, you feel immediately inspired. There might be a certain geometry, shapes, colors that jump out at the viewer, and they feel whatever the artist wants them to feel.
So it's almost like beauty can be defined as some sort of movement or inspiration, emotion.
Yes, definitely emotion.
Gotcha.
Art is always supposed to inspire a thought or an emotion or convey a concept or an idea.
Another thing I read somewhere about it was about music, but it could be relative to art as well. Is that like even if you look at a piece and even if you have to take a second to think about asking what it is, then it's a good piece of artwork because it makes you think.
Definitely.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
So how would you define art? So we talked about beauty. How would you define art?
Well, art comes in many forms. There's musical and poems, writing, and then there's visual art, which is something that I focus on.
Okay, okay. So what influences have you had that kind of made you become an artist? Like, how did you end up where you are right now?
So, according to my mom, I've always been doodling, though I don't actually remember that fact. When my art consciousness came online, I do remember that. I was taking some sort of after-school class. I'm from Germany, by the way.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yes. That was mandatory. I just picked art, and I hadn't been particularly interested in art at the time, or I picked art, and this teacher taught us oil painting and showed us artists, and I was totally captured, and I created my first painting, and that was the first time that I thought about art and how it was affecting me. I kept painting and I kept studying, going to museums now very differently than before, really looking at art, really looking at the artists, the history, the techniques, and all the movements throughout art history.
And this is when you were a child, so you were exposed.
I was a teenager, yes.
And so you, as a teenager, you kind of knew that this was a direction that was kind of pulling you towards.
I don't know if you could say that. I didn't know that there was a path to having a profession in the arts.
Okay.
So that was sort of, the cliche. Like you're a starving artist. You can't make money. You can't do a living. You have to study something that gives you, an income. And so it wasn't really something that I thought about in terms of what I can work with. It was not taught to us at that time.
Gotcha. And what kind of arts do you focus on? I mean, I know I had kind of said modern and contemporary, but can you just kind of, like what does that mean? Most people, when they hear modern art, they don't really, I personally, for one, didn't really know what that meant when you told me until I came here. So tell me, so what kind of art do you actually make?
It's contemporary pieces. It's not realistic work. Realistic means when you look at a work, the art looks like a photograph, and that's amazing, but it's not my kind of style. My work is much more expressive, and I use different techniques and different colors that are not realistic. And I'm also not like Picasso. These are all these styles that were created, there's a lot of art history and going to that, but I'm trying to find my own way of painting. So it's modern and it's contemporary and it's unique to me.
So you could say, and tell me if I'm understanding you correctly, that you see something, it inspires you, and then what actually comes out on the paper could be kind of how you see it. It's not exactly what somebody else would see. So you would take a person and you would kind of maybe accentuate certain aspects of that person to kind of bring out the artistic feel.
Right. It's I focus on the emotion that I want to convey in the painting. So it's never exactly what I'm looking at as my muse or the pose that I'm using, but I'm really just focusing on, when I'm doing it, on the movement of the brush and where's the light, where are the darks, that sort of thing.
Interesting. So I could imagine that while you're in your mode, that it must be very, very emotional for you. Really, I mean, you sound like you're just like. So what's your process like? Like, so if you see something that inspires you, what's the process like? How do you get that emotion to come out on paper, or canvas? Excuse me.
Canvas. So I have two different ways of doing things. Sometimes I have a concept, like in this work. It was something very slow. It's inspired by the murder of George Floyd. And it was very slow in coming, but I was really moved, worried, all those things that were happening in May, June, and it continued to happen. And I was seeing all these visuals and words in the media. And so it was mulling in my head that I wanted to bring out all these things that I was hearing from the people around me. And I wanted to put them in context to the person feeling it. And I decided that all these things that I found in the media are in the background behind here. And then I wanted to show a colored woman.
Okay.
In her beauty, but she's not happy. She's
given the context, yeah.
Thinking ahead. She's worried. She's wondering what's in store for moving on. And these are some of the words that are coming off her profile are accentuating her thoughts.
Interesting. So again, a piece like this is extremely it's moving, and for me as a person who, I can tell you that my experience with art is not very wide. It's not very wide or long. It's not very deep. Let's put it that way. But when I see something like this, and given the current context of where we are as a country, as a society, as a community, this has got to just strikes a chord. And is this what a lot of your work is like?
Yes, a lot of my pieces start out with an idea and what I want to convey, and then I'll do research on that particular idea. Like here, this is actually based on a photograph, a very famous photograph taken in Paris in the 40s called The Kiss in Front of the Hotel d'Aubert. I forgot the exact name, but it's by Robert Doisneau. He's a very famous Parisian photographer.
Okay.
But I took the movement and the pose of this kiss and thought about different things that happen during the moment of a kiss.
And the minute you say that, I'm sorry to cut you off, is I look and I see, I love you, I love you, I love you. So while two people are kissing, they're feeling the emotions of love.
Of love, and people are maybe watching what happens if I don't do this. I might be alone, or thinking about past being alone. And behind there's other things, memories, and then there's a spiral, which is, when you're falling in love, there's just this whole spiral of losing yourself. Of course.
So, what kind of art? What do you want to be remembered for? 100 years from now, your artwork is out there. What do you want to be remembered for?
I want to be remembered for creating conceptual and emotional, powerful pieces.
Okay, that's beautiful. That's absolutely beautiful. So, how can people find more of your work? And I'm sure that these things are for sale. Is there somewhere that they can go, or how do they support?
So I have a website. It's www.annettebackfineart.com. I also have an Instagram that you can follow me at, which is Instagram/annettebackfineart.com. And please, please, please come and be part of my Facebook group, and that would be Annette Back Fine Art Studio.
Okay, so what I'm going to do, just to make it easier, is I'm going to put all those links in the bottom of the video, so that way people can just click right on it and go straight to it. Is that cool?
That's great. Thank you so much, Stephen, for doing this. It's wonderful to be heard. I don't think that a lot of Riverdalians know that I'm here.
Well, hopefully after this they will know.
Right.
So I got some news for you. I just started this new concept, and I figured what better way to give back to the community and to give back to local businesses and artists such as yourself as what we're going to do is we're going to have a 5-question trivia. For every question you get right, I'm going to donate $25 to your favorite charity.
Uh-oh.
All right, so you cool with that?
I'm cool with that.
All right, so these are pretty simple questions. Some of them are going to be softball, some of them not. So it's a multiple choice question. The largest state in the USA is A, Alaska, B, California, C, Texas, or D, Washington.
Hey, Alaska.
That is correct. Okay.
Not being an American.
Okay. All right. So which character is not on the TV show Friends? A, Rachel, B, Joey, C, Gunther, D, Monica.
Come on. It's Gunther.
All right. That was a real softball. Yeah. 2 for 2. Okay. What social media platform came out in 2003? A, MySpace, B, Twitter, C, Facebook, or D, Tumblr?
That's a hard one. I think I'm going to go with Facebook.
Okay, no, the answer is actually A, MySpace.
MySpace.
Yeah,
I was going in between.
2003, yep.
I joined Facebook in 2008. So, yeah, okay.
All right, so we got 2 for 3 so far. $50 going to your favorite charity. Let's see if we can get some more. Who painted, this is going to be right up your alley. Who painted the Sistine Chapel? Is it A, Picasso, B, Da Vinci, C, Michelangelo, or D, Van Gogh?
Michelangelo.
All right, that's a super duper softball. I saw that one and I was like, you know what, artist, let me just throw that one in there. All right, last one. This is a little bit more back to the USA. Which U.S. state is nicknamed the Sunflower State? A, Florida, B, California, C, Maine, or D, Kansas?
I'm going to go with California.
No, it is not. No, neither one of them. It's D, Kansas.
Okay, you got me.
Yes, but I'll tell you what, though. You got 3 out of 5. That's $75.
Okay.
And just let me know what charity you want that to go to, and I'll put that in the link as well.
Okay.
But, yeah, so I'm going to make sure that I push this video out there to everybody that I can, and I thank you for taking some time to sit with us today.
Thanks for having me. This was really an awesome experience.
My pleasure.
Keep doing this for all the Riverdalians.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
All right, guys. Next week, guys. See you later.